Welcome back. It is the Flow Friday Sports Show on Flow FM. Belinda Marsh, the Head of Infrastructure and Government Relations for the SANFL, joins me on the line. Great to have you here, Belinda. How are you?
Good, thanks, Dan. How are you going?
Very well, thank you. And it's especially great to have you here right at this time because the SANFL have just made a really exciting announcement with the SA State Government, SANFL and AFL teaming up to deliver an $8 million funding program to benefit footy clubs and support the continued growth of the game as part of the legacy as the host state for AFL's Gather Round. Really, really great initiative, and I've only just given a few very brief details there. Can you give our listeners a few more details?
Yeah, thanks, Dan. It is really exciting time for football to be able to give back to communities where they really, really need some help, and that's in facility development. What's exciting about this is that it's open to clubs and councils across the whole state. So we're looking for facility improvement in things like change room upgrades, lighting, and even smaller projects like goalposts and scoreboards. Clubs can get up to $150,000 towards those major facilities. And then there's also a smaller program up to $50,000 where they can get things like goalposts and coaches' boxes and things that they, usually would find hard to fundraise for.
Fantastic. So many good things that clubs can try and get funding for. And obviously we know our footy clubs are always looking to be bigger and better. So, yeah, a sensational time to get involved with this. And there's funding up for grabs this year, but this is an ongoing project, isn't it? Running sort of alongside with the AFL's Gather Round in South Australia. That's
right. So the fund matches the Gather Round. So it's a 3-year program and a little bit over 2.5 million available to clubs each year. So that's a huge amount, which we're really excited about. But what we want to do is really prove to the government and to AFL that there is such a demand in South Australia, and we really want to, have a sense of pride in our facilities, and we really want to show them how much return on investment we can get out of this fund and hopefully, have it for years to come.
No doubt about that. South Australia is very much a grassroots football state, and being a South Australian myself, I can honestly say pretty much everyone here is mad for footy, whether it's in the city or the country or anywhere in the state. And I imagine country footy would be one area that you'd be looking to invest pretty heavily, and there'd be plenty of country footy clubs hoping for investment as well because there's club mergers happening and league amalgamations and all sorts of things. And a lot of these clubs are trying really hard to stay viable. So, yeah, I imagine country footy is one area you'd be looking to invest.
Yeah, definitely. We always see a huge return for community football clubs from funding programs, and I don't think that will be any different for this one. The need out there is certainly great with the likes of female competitions going really well in the southeast, over on Port Lincoln, and new competitions starting up in areas like Whyalla and the Riverland. So we want to support the volunteers that are supporting those competitions by ensuring that those facilities meet the needs of the new players and families coming into the club.
And no doubt another area you'll be looking to invest in, the whole country is looking to invest, is women's footy, and we've seen women's sport just go absolutely gangbusters this year with the Matildas World Cup final run, not the final, but the World Cup run, and women's sport in general just growing and growing in momentum, and especially at the grassroots level. But unfortunately, a lot of footy clubs just haven't quite had the funding just yet to upgrade their facilities, and a big part of that is a female-specific change room and bathroom. So that, I imagine, would be another area where a lot of clubs will be looking to secure funding and really grow the female side of their clubs.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of our country clubs are really set up for the way that they've played for the last 100 years, which has been really quite male-dominated, and the facilities have reflected that need. And there's never been anything wrong with that, but with our changing contemporary expectations, different needs of more female players, but also female officials and volunteers, we really need to make sure that they feel comfortable and safe in those environments. And, we're not looking for clubs to do huge $5 million Taj Mahals. It may be just that your bathrooms and facilities need a refurb, and that's, putting in a couple of extra toilet cubicles, putting some doors on showers, just neatening the whole thing up. And we really would love to fund those types of projects.
Well, from playing footy myself and from using some change rooms, which during away games, I've become aware that they're a shared facility for the men's and the women's team. There is not a woman on earth that I would wish upon having to use those same facilities. So hopefully there are plenty of clubs trying to get some funding and improve their facilities for their female players. Now, this fund's only been open for a few days, but have you already been receiving a lot of positive feedback and a lot of applications?
We certainly have. We've clubs and councils are able to jump online and put in an expression of interest, which would allow us to then make contact and support them through their application process. But we have had, probably about 30 expression of interest already. Lots of phone calls, lots of councils really involved. And pleasingly, a lot of those expressions have come from country areas. Just opening one now, and there's places from Denham and Limestone Coast and certainly up Port Lincoln Way. So yeah, really exciting, and just encourage anyone that's interested and has maybe been thinking about this for quite some time that the support is now here for us to help you, and they can jump on the SANFL website, follow that through to the funding page, fill in an expression of interest of what sort of project you might be interested in, and our team will reach out and support you through that process. They don't need to get everything in place now. What we might do is aim to say, hey, let's help you put in an application in 2024 or 2025 and really have a great planned approach to, making sure that they can succeed.
Clearly already seeing the sensational knock-on effect that Gather Round in South Australia is having and will continue to have. We've only had one Gather Round in South Australia so far. The second one, the fixture's been announced, but it's still some months away, and we're already seeing this fantastic effect and the growth coming at the grassroots level. So this is a really, really great initiative. And you're right, obviously it's an ongoing project, so clubs are in no rush to put in their funds, but when does the nominating close for the first round of funding?
So this round closes 21st of February, and we would hope to announce our first round of successful applicants over the Gather Round weekend, which will be really, really special.
Fantastic. Another reason to look forward to Gather Round in 2024, as if there weren't enough already. Belinda, thank you very much for joining me and filling us in on all that. Like you said, plenty of time for local clubs to get involved, and I'll echo your sentiment as well. Could not recommend higher for clubs to get involved and reach out and try and get their hands on some of this funding and try and update their club rooms and goalposts and whatever else that they may need. It is a fantastic initiative. Belinda, thank you very much for joining me on the show. Been great chatting to you. Hopefully we can do it again sometime.
Great, no worries. Thanks for having me.